Hey guys, welcome to another video of Power Automate. So in previous session we have seen Power Automate interview questions which are pretty simple and based on the tools, and today we'll be seeing the technical and logical questions in Power Automate. So I have combined some simple questions. First, the difficulty level is very simple. These are the questions which I've asked in recent interviews, right? So we'll go one by one and let's see their answers also. So how to pass a value from cloud flow to extra flow? This is very common question nowadays asked. So if you see this pane variables of input output, so here if I click input, so this is basically I give variable name and I can use any data type. The default value I can give, let's see that I give pad and external name. So this name will basically be shown in the cloud flow, right? So you can see give like this cloud new input. Okay, so when you call this desktop flow from the cloud flow, then it will ask with this name. Okay, so this is how we can pass the value from the cloud flow to desktop flow. Okay, so this is created. Now output variable, let's see you want to send some value from this desktop flow to the cloud flow. So similarly it has the same output, variable name, data type, external name. You can call it as desktop output. You can give the desktop a flow name also, and the description. If you see there is no value, how to give a value in here is simply we can use set variable. Okay, so new output, and here you can give value. Okay, so when you call this flow into the cloud flow, then it will give you as a output. So this is how we can take input and output from the cloud flow. Now how to handle credentials and Power Automate. So currently there are no such way, there is no particular credential vault in Power Automate, but now it has introduced Azure Power Automate credentials vault, which we will be seeing in our next upcoming videos. How to we can handle those, how can we store username and password in those credentials. Okay, now the third question is how to maximize a window. So it is also a very commonly asked question, and there are different methods that we can maximize a window. First is of course, let's say I want to maximize the Chrome. Okay, so we can just use it, attach a by title, and we can give the title name. Simply it will come here. Okay, see it is coming here, and I click save, and if I run it, see it will be maximized. Okay, so this is how we can maximize it. So now how to close a window. So there are different methods. We have also seen in previous videos how can we close a window, right? So if I search for close, so there is a method with close. I can use the title and I can give whatever window I wanted to close. Okay, so if I give this, so it will only the window, it will take only the window and it will be closed. So this is one method. I can use the instance, right? Browser instance, and it will close the browser window, right? I can also use the terminate action, terminate process. It will close, right? It will just take a process name. Like if I give Chrome, and it will close the Chrome. This is the third method. And I can also use the DOS command, which you have seen in the previous web automation video, where I can use just give the task kill command, and then the name of the application, and then the image name. Okay, so this is how also we can close the application. There are different methods using which we can close the window. Now how to minimize all windows. So for this also we have different methods. First is the desktop, show desktop. If you give this, so you have the options of minimize all windows. If I use this one and run it from here, so it has minimized the window. Okay, so this is one method to minimize the window. There are other method also in the UI. If you see set window state, and you can give by title, the window title, you can give this Chrome, and you can say that okay, you want to restore it, minimize or maximize. So this is also a method that you can minimize the window. Okay, now let's go to next question. How do I add two numbers in Power Automate? So this is basically asked in one of my recent interviews. So how can we add two numbers? Let's say I want to add 5 plus 10. So if I give 5 plus 10, let's see what output it will give. Okay, so it has not added, but it has concatenated. So this is also a question which was recently asked. If you see the next question, how to concatenate two numbers in Power Automate. So this is how we can give the plus sign. But if we want to add two numbers, okay, let's try this one. This is also concatenating. And then finally, this is the expression which we can use to add two numbers. Okay, so this is how we can add two numbers, and it is a numeric value. So this is the expression. We can add two numbers, basically close between the percent sign. And if we want to concatenate, we can just simply give the plus sign. Okay, now moving on to next. Or expression is given in set variable to create null variable. So null variable is basically a blank value variable, right? So we do not make use of null values very frequently, but yes, this is a question which was recently asked. If I just save it like this, value can't be empty, so this is the error it gives. So that is why this question is asked, how can you give blank value? So it's a simple expression. Let's see what it will do. If I run this, so it gives me the percent sign, but if you give double quotes, then it will just give you a blank value. See, it is a blank value. So this is how you can give a null value. This is how you can give the expression to get the null value. So till now we have seen the simple questions. Now we'll see medium difficulty level questions where there are some scenarios which are being asked. First is how to handle exceptions in Power Up. Right. So I have created a separate video for exception handling, but to cut it short, there are two ways to handle exception. One is on block where this is basically a try catch block where if any exception occurs on any of these states, it would be caught by this block, and this block will be executed. Okay, and second is we have on error, right? For each stage where the exception can be handled, there are inside we have the rules for exception handling, like if this text of flow fails, should it retry it, or should it throw the error, or should it continue to flow run? Okay, and where should it go if continue flow run is there and throw exception? So if this run text of flow error throws exception, it will be then caught by this error, and then this block will be executed. So this is how the exception handling works in Power Automate. Okay, now coming on to the next question, what are actions available in work queue? So recently Power Automate has introduced the work queue. So basic questions were asked because there is these are recently introduced. So process work queue, update work item. So actions are basically process work queue item, update work queue item, add work queue item, request item, and these are the 5 actions which are now available. We will see a detailed video how can we work on the work queue item, but for now only process, update, add, request, and update. These are the actions available, right? How to create a work queue in Power Automate. And the fourth question is what are the properties of work queue? So if I go in here, I have created, let me sign in. So how can the work queue be created? If I go in here, click on work queues, so I have created a queue, but I can also create new queue. So it is we can name as queue2. We can write any description. Work queue key is basically what the name of the column which should appear in the work queue. So we'll see this key in detail also. For now, we'll just select create. Okay, so Q2 is created. This is how we can, create queue. And these are the properties. Queued, how many items are queued, how many are processing, how many are processed, how many are hold. So these are basically how many have exception. So this is how we can create queue, and we can also manage the access, right? So if we want to add people from our organization, we can add people, and only then they can able to view this, or they can able to manage the work queue. And since we have not given any key, so it has created one unique key. Okay, so this is how the work queue created, and this is how the status of work queue is seen. Okay, what are connectors in Power Automate? So basically, in Power Automate Cloud, we have the connectors, like we connect our cloud with scheduler services, or we connect with Microsoft Teams, or we connect with any API. So these are the connectors in Power Automate. Now, next is how to send all capital letters in Chrome window, right? So for this, let us spy this one. Mm, I use this one. Text box. I'll quickly spy this. Right. So if I want to send all capital letters, and this is how we can send the capital letters. So this is being sent. Now this is one method. Another method could be, so let's say we have some variable. Okay, let's say we have this new input, and we can use to upper. Okay, this is also a method that we can use. We can use it to send the all uppercase in Power Automate. What is the output? Extract data from window in UI action. So basically, this is a scenario based question. Again, if you have used it, you can tell it. So in data extraction, if I go extract data from window, basically there are two output. One is extract spreadsheet, and second is the variable. So how does it works is, if I go to add element, and if I go here, and if I spy this window, see, and if I say a variable, so it will give me all the spied area from that window into a text variable. Okay, this is how the output is. And if I give it in the Excel worksheet, then it will create a worksheet and write the data into that worksheet. So if I do it in an Excel worksheet and then run it. So this is basically a dynamic kind of attribute, right? So the window could change, and after the change of the window, it can get that changed element also. So if you see, this is how it extracts the data into a worksheet. So basically there are two outputs, Excel and variable, text variable. Okay. Now the next question is how to export a flow from dev to prod. So how to export a flow from dev to prod? So for this we can use solutions. I have created a separate video of how can we move flow from one environment to another environment. Next is how can we use dynamic or regex function, and can we use two attributes for one UI element. So pretty easy. If you want to use dynamic attributes, you go to this attribute, go to this group section, edit. So if you see here, we can use regex here, for example this, and we can also use a dynamic attribute. We can give a variable here. Okay, and we can also use a regex value. I give w, and let's just test this works or not. Yes, it is working. So regex, this is how I give the parameter of regex here, right? I can give regular expressions, Okay, and I can also give the variable here. So this is how we can use the dynamic attributes. Now the other question is, can we use two attributes for one sap? Yes, we can use. I just need to add new here, and I can spy another similar attribute. Okay, so this is my second selector. So if this does not work, if this fails, then it will automatically be moved here, and if this fails, then it will throw the exception. So this is how these multiple attributes works in Power Automate. How do you automate SAP using Power Automate? So for SAP, we does not have much actions. Instead, we only have to use some basic actions like launch, select SAP menu, and we have to use the script. So I will make a separate video on SAP automation. For now, we have only some basic actions in here, and to use SAP script, we use VB script. So VB script and SAP script are basically have are same. SAP script is written in VB script only, so we can use VB script functions to automate SAP. So this is the questions with medium difficulties, and then we have the logical question, the scenario based questions. Okay, first is, what step will you take to troubleshoot issues in Power Automate? So the any flow which we run in attended mode or in unattended mode, it will go to our desktop flow activity. Any flow we run, it will come here. Okay, so if I just go here and go to my desktop flow, and if I click this, so I have all the logs here, why it failed. So let's say this flow has failed. I'll go to view details, and here I will get the error details. Okay, and here I can get that, okay, it fails here, click link on web page. So I go into my desktop flow and see if there is any change in the attribute, right? Also gives me the screenshot. Okay, so this is how I troubleshoot errors in Power Automate. What are your responsibilities as an RPA developer? So this question can have different answers for different people. For me as an RPA developer, I develop the bots. I use best practices to develop the bot. I deploy them. I do the UAT production. I do the hypercare. Sometimes I prepare the you know the solution design documents also, and walk through to the operations, that how the bot works. So these are the responsibilities as a RPA developer. So what name three main components of RPA? So for any RPA tool, there are only three main components. First is where we do the development, right? So this we can call this development studio. Second is the machine, which is called the bot, right? And the third is the control room, where we monitor the bots, or where we trigger the bots. So three main components are studio, machines, bots, or the control room. Okay. Now how to use an AI builder. So for this, I'll make a separate video how to use an AI builder. But for now, if I go to the AI hub, so here, if I go to AI hub, and if I want to do the document intelligent document processing, I can feed the 4 5 documents here and extract the information. So we'll make a separate video for this. This is very interesting. The intelligent document processing, it does not require too much documents to extract the information. I am so next question, I'm not able to edit my unmanaged solution in dev. Is it possible? How? Yes, it is possible. And how it is possible is, I have made a separate video on solution. Go watch that, and you will get a clear understanding how is it not possible to edit the unmanaged solution. Okay, how does Power Automate integrate with other application cloud? So we use connectors to integrate Power Automate with other applications cloud. Okay, how to activate? Yeah, attach second instance of Chrome. So for this, let me know in the comment section below, how can you attach second instance of Chrome? Yeah, second tab of Chrome. I'll make a next video. I'll make how can we do this? How to add machines and cloud? So in order to add machines in cloud, since this is a trial version, so if I go to settings here, somewhere here we will get open machine settings, and there we can we'll get the options of environment where we want to add this machine into, and this is how we can add machines in our Power Automate. Okay, how can I call a cloud flow from another cloud flow? So the first question is, can we call it? Yes, we can call it. So it will require a run ID. Okay, so if I call one cloud flow from another cloud, let's say I have this cloud flow. Okay, and this is my run ID. You see at the top, starting from 96, to D2, right? So this is my run ID. So if I want to call this Cloudflow into another Cloudflow, I have to use this run ID so that the bot will know, okay, this is the run ID which you want to call. So yes, it is possible to call a Cloudflow from another Cloudflow. What is the output of workflow function? So workflow function gives you the output of gives you output as workflow ID, okay, of the workflow in which the workflow function is called. It will not give you the output of another workflow. Can you integrate multi-bot architecture and Power Automate? Yes, we can integrate. We have to apply logics. If the bot needs to work on single file, multiple bot wants to work on single Excel file, we can apply logics, or we can use SQL connections, OLTP connection to work on single file. How to use a config in Power Automate? So there are different methods we can use. We can use Excel, we can use JSON object, we can use custom objects to create config file in Power Automate. Five best practices related to RPA. I mean, there are plenty of best practices we can use in RPA. So, for example, we can implement error handling, and we always have to do the logins. Use work queues, okay, while moving the solutions or while moving the flows from one environment to another environment, or particularly moving from dev to production, we should use it as a managed solution. Okay, always use dynamic wait outs. We should not use very much static wait outs. Avoid killing the applications. Always use soft close. So these are some best practices we can use during the development. What is an OCR? OCR is basically optical character recognition. So there are different OCR, engines. We have a Microsoft engine. We have a Google Tesseract engine. So it basically extracts the information from a PDF. We use regions to extract the information from OCR. So these are some questions which I hope can help you during your next interview. Thanks for watching. Happy automation. Bye.